What do you mean by that, Matt?
Well, what Rick surmised about the Bush funeral, and I think this is, played right into it. The deal was struck.
Nothing could have happened until this change that has happened.
Now you're seeing so much change.
And I have no proof. This is just my own gut feeling. I mean, I did have a reliable source tell me this information, but he offered no proof to me. All right. So I can't say he had any evidence.
But there has been a change of tone in the administration in the past several months.
Right. And so what I asked that person that day was, what was in the envelope at the funeral of George Herbert Walker Bush? Because all these...
That made Jeb Bush almost pass out.
Well, not only that, but a bunch of people got envelopes.
Yes.
But then, when the casket was coming by the Bush family, that's when...
Laura passed it to Jeb and Jeb.
They weren't looking at the casket.
Until, they weren't even looking at the casket. They're looking at this envelope, the contents of the envelope.
Think about this.
Watch
you got
this.
family members, former president going down the aisle in a casket. They're not even looking at it.
He's reading the whatever.
President Trump is looking at it, though.
He's watching them. He's watching them.
Look, Jeb right now is all smiles.
Goes from smiling to
what?
dismay.
He drops his hand.
Both of them look dismay. Look at that.
Look at that. I mean, it's just proof right there.
Right. So the theory is that one crime syndicate threatened the other crime syndicate, kind of like mafia bosses here, and said, we have dirt on you. Back off.
Right.
Then immediately after the Bush funeral, within days, word started spreading on the street that the Robert Mueller investigation was over. Then Mueller investigators started going back to private practice.
And then Attorney General Barr comes on board.
Then, yes, within days, William Barr was appointed as the Attorney General.
The Attorney General for George H.W. Bush.
Yes, not George W. Bush, but the man in the casket.
Yes.
Okay? And so my source said, Rick, you don't understand why William Barr is the Attorney General. And
so
that's
you
what
got the thinking, huh?
And that got me. No, he told me. He said, a deal has been made. A deal
Attorney General
between the Bush family and the Trump organization. A deal has been made, and it was George Herbert Walker Bush, the old senior Bush, who was running the operation to take down Donald Trump through Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller was a Bush man.
That's right.
Wasn't an Obama man, he was a Bush man. Okay, he was FBI director under George W. Bush. Okay, and there's a whole, Comey and Mueller is a long history, but both of them, they're associated with the Bushes. And so my friend said, look, they made a deal. They've got a truce, and William Barr is the trustee of the Bush dynasty, and he has been installed at the Justice Department to implement the truce.
The conciliary.
And you had the appointment of L.A. Abrams shortly after that, too.
Another
enforcer from the Bush syndicate.
And now we have war in South America.
Right. Which he wanted years ago.
Absolutely, and hardcore Zionists.
So you're saying this is, so what's happened here in the past several months since William Barr's come on board, since L.A. Abrams, other former Bush appointees that have been seated now throughout the Trump administration, and likely we'll see some more here over the next few weeks.
Is this why
they've had the freedom now to move ahead with Julian Assange and their plans?
That's why
plans that really go back all the way to 2010.
Well, okay, so if this theory is correct, that the Bushes and the Trumps cut a deal, all right? The Democrats in the House were not part of this. They're left out in the cold. They don't know what's happening.
Right.
They're stumped. They have no idea what happened here.
And that's why William Barr the other day said all previous investigations are now open to being looked at again, including the congressional ones.
Yes. So let's say that there was a deal, and they were sitting around the table, the Trumps and the Bushes, okay, and each side negotiated what they were going to get. Let's speculate that, we're not speculating because the major newspapers and news networks were reporting that Robert Mueller was moving towards indicting Donald Trump Jr.
Yes.
That they were going to put the president's son in prison. Okay?
And yet now
they had Roger Stone.
Right.
They had Jerome Corsi. They were going after all of them. They were going to indict all of them, put them in prison. And so if they were that close to an indictment of Donald Trump Jr., then the president knows, all right, he's got to pull out his Moab bomb.
Do something to save his son.
You got to do something. That was whatever was in the envelope at the funeral.
Well,
that was the Moab bomb.
They're playing with family now. You can't touch the family.
Exactly. Because all the mafia families, you know, that's where it really goes crazy if you start messing with family members, okay? And this is really what you're dealing with. You're dealing with criminal syndicates in this country. There's not just one, there's multiple criminal syndicates. And so they cut a deal and they worked out the terms. And I'm just, again, speculating, what was President Trump, what was on the top of his list? Keep himself out of prison, keep his son out of prison.
Right.
Just like Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't want to go to prison. So what's he doing right now?
Well, you brought that full circle. Wow.
What's he doing? He's making a deal. I don't want to go to prison. What do you guys want?
Yep.
Okay. So let's just assume they had that private meeting. All right. I don't want my son to go to prison. All right. Maybe the Bush side said we have enough evidence to implode the entire Trump organization. How would they have that? The FBI seized millions of records from Michael Cohen, his attorney.
From his hotel room, from his apartment, from his office.
His law firm.
Yes.
Every single thing known about the Trump organization was all there in Michael Cohen's office, and the FBI has it. So I can imagine the Bush family saying, we have enough to put you in prison. We have enough to bankrupt your corporation.
We know this included recordings. Remember the recordings that leaked? Recordings of private conversations that occurred in 2016 and going into 2017.
And so then the Trump said, but we have this on your father.
Yep.
And the Bush is like, we don't want our father's legacy destroyed.
And I can only imagine what that is. And they kind of hinted at that in the closing months.
That's right.
What it was.
That's right. So, yeah, you go to Lincoln, Nebraska, okay? Some of you know what I'm talking about. Just go to Lincoln, Nebraska, okay?